Hi everybody, welcome to Lord of the Reads. Before we get started, please ignore the heater. It has a tendency to like to come on whenever I start to film. So, yes. But today, we're going to be doing my TBingoR TBR game for April. Now, before I do anything else, I have to tell you how I did in March. And up until this point, I have completed my TBR every time. But for March, I had these books to read. Out of this pile, I read these, and part of Mockingjay, but these was all I read. Yeah, it was bad. But these were really good. You can get my thoughts and opinions in my wrap-up that'll go up next week, but they were really good. These, I've started Mockingjay. Well, I've started all of them. I read the first chapter of all of them for my first impressions. Besides that, I haven't continued any of them besides Mockingjay. So, if the bingo cage decides, I will be adding in a punishment, which just means that I'll add a 7th book of one of these that I have not finished. So, I think that's all I have to say for now, and we can go ahead and get into the first spin. Okay, so we can get started with the first spin. Before we do that, as far as rules go, if you don't know the rules, I'll link the playlist to my previous videos so that you can catch up on the rules. Basically, spin the cage, get one of the balls, put the according piece on the board, and then pick a prompt. And since I did not finish my TBR, there will be a punishment. So if I get the same letter 3 times, then I have to add on one of the books from last month that I did not finish as a 7th book. So, with that, we can go ahead and put my piece on for the book of my choice. So, for the book of my choice, I chose The Land of Stories, The Wishing Spell by Chris Colfer. I love fairy tales and retellings. Retellings specifically are really good. And things like the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer, I really enjoy because, like, you see a whole bunch of retellings together. But there was a book, Half Upon a Time, I don't remember the author, but it was really good because it mixed fairy tales together into different combinations, and it was really cool. And I think this is going to be the same kind of thing. I don't know any specifics as to what happens. I just know it follows 2 boys who I think are brothers. Twins. Yeah. Alex and Connor, who are twins. So, I don't know what they do, but I know it's full of fairy tales, magic, things like that. So, this is going to be the first book going on my April TBR. Okay, so with the first spin, it is 066. 066 is not on the board. which means that I get to pick out of these prompts, and it has to be no specific genre because it was not on the board. Okay, a middle grade. So, a middle grade book of any genre. So, for my middle grade, the cage said that I needed a middle grade, and I believe it. So, City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. I've wanted to read Victoria Schwab for a while, and I didn't actually know that she wrote middle grade until I found out about this series. I know practically nothing about it at all. I know it's about a girl and it's set in like this ghost-filled world. Or, it's set in our world, but she can see ghosts or something like that. It's like a super haunted story. Never read anything like it. I don't think I've ever read like a horror ghosty middle grade. But, it's blurbed by Jennifer A. Nielsen. So, that's really all I need to know. And it's Victoria Schwab. Everybody loves Victoria Schwab, so I'm going to read it. And I think I'm really going to enjoy it. So, this will be the second book on my April TBR. For the second spin, it is G52, which is also not on the board. So, pick out of my extra prompts a sad book. So, a sad book of any genre. Okay, so, a sad book. For that, The House in the Cerulean Sea. This was on last month's TBR. And, one of the ones that I did not finish. But, it's going on here now. I think it's sad. Most of the people that read this cry at the end of the book. So it's either sad or it's something else. But it's probably sad at some point. So this book, from what I understand, it's about a guy who has to go to this orphanage of magical children to see if any of them are powerful enough to destroy the world. And I love that concept. Magical children, always amazing. So, I do think I'm really going to enjoy this. I really do. From when I started it in in March, first chapter was really good, so I definitely think I'm going to enjoy it throughout the rest of it. So, third book on my April TBR. Okay, now for spin 3. It is N36, which is once again not on the board. So, a 5-star prediction of any genre. Ooh, that's a fun one. Okay, so, I don't remember what prompts this book fills. 5-star prediction, yes. And Strange the Dreamer by Leonie Taylor. I've heard the name so many times, but I still can't remember how to pronounce it. So, I'm doing this. I'm participating in STRANGEalong, hosted by Maddie at Book Browsing Blog. I'll link the announcement video down below so that you can see it, so that you can get times and stuff like that. But this one is for April, and then what's the second one called? Muse of Nightmares is going to be in May, I believe. So, I think I'm going to love this book. The synopsis just sounds amazing. So, from what I understand, it's about a person. I don't really know what he does. But it's a person who is seeking out this lost magical city, and it's like halfway across the world, and he doesn't want to go there. And then there's a person called the Godslayer, and he wants to know what this person killed in order to be called a Godslayer. The synopsis goes something like that. I'm still confused. I've read the back like so many times, and I still can't tell you what the synopsis is. But I think I'm going to really like this book. I see something about librarian, and I love books with librarians. It's so much fun. So, I do think I'm really going to enjoy this. I've never read Leonie Taylor before, and so many people love her stuff. So I can't wait. This is one of those authors that are like really popular that I just have not gotten around to reading. So, we're going to start reading. And this will be the fourth book on my April TBR, and possibly the one that I'm most excited for. So, yes, can't wait for this. Okay, for spin number 4, it is G47, which is once again not on the board. Ooh, a book with scenery on the cover of any genre. So, for a book with scenery on the front, I've been really excited about this book for a long time, and it is Under the Green Hill by Laura L. Sullivan. For one, the cover, spectacular. Second of all, the story, I can't wait. So, it's about 4 children. They go to live with their grandparents or great-grandparents, something like that. And they go on a 7th summer. And every 7th summer, a group of the world of fairies comes out, and they want to fight. They want a champion to face off, a human champion, to face off against their champion. And they want the oldest brother to be the person that their champion has to fight. And he will most likely die if he does that, but otherwise, the fairies will attack the human world. I love, like, stories about fae and fairies. A Court of Thorns and Roses. So good. And I think I'm really going to enjoy this one. I mean, with a synopsis like that, I can't see how I wouldn't enjoy it. So, this will be the 5th book on my April TBR. I'm super excited about this one. Okay, so for the last spin, so to recap, we have an O, 2 G's, and an N. So, if it's a G, then I have to do the punishment and add on one of the books from last month that I did not finish. If it's not a G, then it doesn't matter. I don't have to do the punishments. Let's see what it is. And it is I-28, which is on the board. The first one that's been on the board. Which means I is sci-fi. So science fiction. Go to the second row. Okay. So, a science fiction with fire on the cover. That's also a fun one. So, for the last book, a book with fire on the cover, this is another book that I'm rolling over from March, and that is The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan. Yes, it's about... I don't really know what it's about. I know that it follows, I think, 3 different people in multiple POV, but 3 children, and there are the Roman gods. So Percy Jackson, you had the children of the Greek gods, and this has the children of the Roman gods, which they're in the same world as Percy Jackson. So, that's fun. But yes, I believe this counts as science fiction. Like, it's sciencey, it's fiction. Yeah, so, last book on my TBR. I'm going to give it another try. I'm very excited for it because, like, I said this in March. I skipped over this series. I don't know why. I read Percy Jackson, and then I went straight to Trials of Apollo. And a lot happened in Trials of Apollo that would have been nice if it would have been explained if I would have read this book. So, last book on my April TBR. Super excited for it. And I hope I can read it this month, since it obviously did not work out last month. But I'm really excited for this one. So, that was my April TBingoR. This is my stack. Yes. It's smaller than last month, so I hope that I can actually read it all. Yeah. But it's still kind of heavy. So, very excited for most of those books, and yeah, I'm very excited. So, with that, I'm finished. So, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what you plan on reading in April, because we need a bit of success after last month. So, let me know what you plan on reading. And with that, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.